and welcome to the first IOPow podcast ever. Woo! Woo! Three of us here. My name's Sam. We've got Richard.
Hi, I'm Richard.
And we've got Chris.
Hey, I'm Chris.
Cool. What we're going to be talking about is pretty much everything entertainment related, everything we kind of love in terms of films, music, games, tech, generally pretty much anything that we can really talk about. We got a few things that we're going to talk about today, but first of all, I'll just say, Richard, do you want to mention anything at all before we start?
Yeah, just that, the podcast it's just going to be like a load of all the different stuff, like you said. Today we're going to cover a broad range of topics, so everything that we're into just in the entertainment world. So all the music news, the gaming news, the TV news, the film news. We basically just want to talk about everything and just cover everything briefly, because we're all just kind of normal people just getting bombarded every day online with all this news and everything. So we want to break it down and just talk about it and have a good time.
Yeah, you may remember us from the IOPow YouTube channel. We are back with this podcast. Hopefully we can bring some of the same charisma and charm to the airwaves.
Yeah, I mean, we tried this quite a long time ago before, and it just turned... Yeah, it was hard because right now we're actually sat in a room together. When we tried to do this previously, it was really difficult trying to talk because obviously we couldn't figure out, and we were talking over each other and whatever. Anyway, let's get to what this is actually about. So we're going to kind of work in this in a few segments. We're going to then talk about just some little bits that we want to get out of the way that's been quite cool recently. And then we're going to get on to talk about some game and tech news, some TV news, some film news. So who watched the Grammys?
Well, I didn't actually watch the Grammys.
Watch them this year, no.
But I watched loads of videos about the Grammys. I've read up on loads of articles about the Grammys. So you've kind of just read about who won what and things like that. It was just a general Grammy show, I guess, where you don't really watch it for the awards, but some of the awards this year did some people very well. Like Skrillex got 3 Grammys or something, which means he's outdone Daft Punk in the EDM categories now. Taylor Swift got Album of the Year, which is questionable in our own opinions.
Yeah, it came out October 2014, so technically that came out before the last lot of Grammys, so I don't know what happened there.
Yeah.
I mean, props to her, though. She's still winning Grammys. I am a big Swiftie, so...
But, it's like a recent event thing, and you just cover it anyway and stuff like that, so... It was all right. I guess, I didn't really watch it, but it's the Grammys.
Should we give a quick rundown of who won the big, or who won away with a lot?
Yeah,
The Weeknd ran away with 2.
Well, I mean, Kendrick Lamar smashed it apparently,
Boom.
didn't he?
Yeah.
So from what I've heard, I didn't watch the Grammys, but he took away 4, 5?
5
of them.
He shared one with Taylor Swift for the music video for Bad Blood.
Yeah, I mean, pretty all right, really, isn't it? I guess.
Pretty all right.
Pretty
Have
all
you
right.
heard his album?
I can't say I'm a big Kendrick Lamar fan.
It's a good album. I did listen to it. It's a good album. I'm not a massive Kendrick Lamar fan either, but it was a good album. In that sort of genre, rap, hip-hop sort of thing, it was a good album. Weeknd won 2, Taylor Swift won 3, Ed Sheeran won 2, Skrillex, as you said, won 3. I think they were the big winners. Alabama Shakes walked away with 2 or 3 again.
I've never even heard of the Alabama Shakes, to be honest.
I've never heard of it.
No.
They are good. It's kind of...
Are they not a joke band, or are they like a proper...
No, they're a proper band.
On stage and tell some jokes.
No, it's just kind of it's a lot of
strawberry
ambient stuff.
milkshakes, chocolate milkshakes.
I don't think it's shakes as in milkshakes now. No, but they are pretty good, and every time they release an album, it seems to do really well at the Grammys. I think the last album, 2-3 years ago, walked away with 3 or 4 in their categories.
That's
a
all right.
lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're kind of like Beck. Every now and again, they'll just come in and sweep the awards.
Oh well.
Rihanna didn't show up, did she? She was ill.
What about those live performances, guys?
Well, there was one artist, I don't even remember who it was, but one of them was supposed to be performing with a second artist, and they didn't even show up. They're notorious for being late. This artist, I don't know what she's called, I can't remember off the top of my head, but she actually didn't show up for a performance. She was late, so the other artists had to go on stage and perform, and then miss out the parts where, because it was a duo, so we had to miss out the parts where she was singing. And it was very obvious, apparently. And I know this information is pretty much useless because I can't name either of the artists.
I have a vague recollection of this one event.
Well, that's just kind of the thing you can expect at the Grammys.
That's the thing that happened. Adele, you said the mic fell?
Oh yeah. Apparently, afterwards, loads of people were criticizing Adele's performance, saying that it was the piano was basically out of tune, or it was some weird guitar-like sounds people were saying. But apparently, it's because the microphone fell onto the piano strings or fell onto the piano, and whenever she was playing, it was either knocking the piano out of tune or it was making a horrible noise or what have you.
I think she had a pianist. She was singing, so the pianist should have.
Did she? Did she have a piano? Or was she playing and singing?
No, I
See,
don't
this is
think
why
she
we should
plays
watch the
piano.
Grammys. So that
I saw her picture and she was stood up singing.
Oh right, okay.
So and there's a piano in the background.
Yeah.
Justin Bieber and, as you said,
Jack
Skrillex, Jack U.
Yeah.
That guitar tone was not fun.
No, I mean Justin Bieber did very well. It was like a 5-minute performance. Justin Bieber goes on stage and does an acoustic thing of "Love Yourself," and then runs off. And then like he runs into like a set stage where Jack U is set up, so they've got like a live band because you're not allowed to just DJ something; you have to actually perform it. So you have like Diplo with a mellotron and some drums, and Skrillex has a guitar, but like Skrillex's guitar sounded like a primary school musician guitar teacher has shown up with a little preschool amp box and just tried
nice
to plug it
little
in and
cube
said
amp.
that'll sound good. And
I mean, we all come from an audio background, so we're all going to be very, very
a little
critical of this.
we get really precious over our audio when it comes down to things. So.
Especially Sam with his guitar tones.
Oh yeah, as a guitarist,
Should've used
I've not
bass.
heard it, so I'm going to save it till.
It wasn't
Save it till
good, mate.
later, no.
And then who else? We had Lady Gaga doing a medley of David Bowie.
Oh yeah.
It was a nice tribute.
Yeah, apparently it was like heavily Intel branded though, which is
Oh,
in some cases a bit
How was it Intel branded?
because they Intel are like showing off some new technology that face mapped Lady Gaga, and then they put graphics animating movie stuff over her face. Like they had a spider crawling across her face, and David Bowie like makeup was appearing on her face and stuff. But like Intel's logo was like at the start of the show and basically like carried the show. So it was like even though Lady Gaga was supposed to have done something that was kind of honorable, it kind of just felt to a lot of people who watched it, because obviously we didn't watch it.
I mean, it's not like they needed to brand it because I mean, Snapchat's been doing that for like the last couple of weeks anyway, so it's not like it's.
I would have
anything new.
preferred it if it was done by Snapchat and it was just like a filter in Lady Gaga.
just came up with that like KFC filter that comes up sometimes.
Yeah, please.
Just some flipping, but the squash Lady Gaga's face at the start of the song.
Or this Miss Squared thing or whatever, where they get Leonardo DiCaprio's face over the top of it. That would be a trip.
Could have just face swapped her as well with like, somebody else.
With a picture of David Bowie. Yeah, like the fact that they kind of like pimped out a tribute kind of knocks me sick a little bit. Especially for like David Bowie, you would have thought they could have left it out. Or did you mean like they like sponsored the whole show, like EE sponsored the BAFTAs? Was it that type of thing, or was it just like her one performance? You noticed it a lot.
It was like the performance was powered by Intel.
No.
Because of the way they were using their technology. But again, it was another thing as well. I heard some comments that were saying that, of all the artists that actually worked with David Bowie, were friends with him for life, successful, famous musicians that could have done these tributes, instead, they chose Lady Gaga with an Intel branded thing. So anyway, I think...
What do we think of the Grammys overall then? Performances not so good.
can't
Awards
tell you.
kind of went to deserving artists, maybe?
I mean, if Kendrick Lamar can walk away with 5 Grammys, I mean,
Well-
let's just wait till next year and see.
Well, you see, the Grammys are like broke into different genres, aren't they? So that everybody gets represented in their genres. So like he won 5 Grammys in the rap genre. He didn't go
okay.
winning the pop genres and country genres like that. So
5 awards in a rap genre.
yeah,
Anyway, on to the next thing. Pretty cool. There's some game and tech stuff at the moment. I was talking before to the guys about the Apple statement that they put out maybe yesterday.
I wasn't paying full attention. If you want to give me a quick wrap up of what that was.
Yeah, so basically what's happened is last year there was an investigation into a case about a terrorism attack or what have you, where the said terrorist was using an iPhone and something to do with coordinating whatever attack it was. I mean, I can't, in all due respect, I can't recall the name of the case or anything like that. But what the FBI have done is they approached Apple and asked them to create a backdoor into the iPhone security system. And, there's a big post that Apple put on their website that lots of people on my Facebook have been sharing. And they're almost, refusing to do it. I mean, they are refusing to do it, but they're trying to, I don't know, maybe put a bad word against what the FBI is saying. They're basically trying to stick up for the right of having security, and Apple is saying that even some of the stuff that they can't access is they wouldn't want to have access to it because it's people's personal information. I mean, I don't know what you guys think about it, because, for this one case, for them to be able to look into more of how this terrorism attack was planned or what have you, would it be worth compromising the security for iPhone users? I don't know.
You need to think, like, the amount of people who use iPhones in the world, and then the amount of those people who are terrorists. It's like a 0.001 or something. Like, this is like breach of people's privacy. They've got laws set against that. So then the fact that the FBI were willing to go to Apple and be like, look, can you put a backdoor in there? Apple have then gone to the public and been like,
the thing
they're
is,
trying to get us to do this.
Yeah, the thing is that when you add an encryption into one person's iPhone to backdoor it, you're not just putting one encryption key for one iPhone. Once you've got a system where one master key can unlock everyone's personal information on an iPhone, that's why it's a serious problem. If it was linked to somebody's personal account, that would be slightly different, but the encryption keys don't work like that. According to the statement from what I heard Sam talk about earlier, it doesn't work that way. It's like once you've opened it for one person, you're opening it basically up for anybody to do it to any iPhone that they've got their hands on.
But then we also saw, was it last year, like a lot of people's Apple iCloud accounts were being hacked. That's how we got all the celebrity nude scandals like that. If they're able to hack into Apple servers like that, are they able to hack into, if we've got the backdoor, everybody's personal information?
I mean, the iCloud scandal, those people were targeted because of the celebrity status, mostly. I mean, what you've got to think about is this backdoor thing isn't just going to be looking at their details, If this can be used for anybody else, you're going to be looking at people's information in terms of being tracked and the location. You're looking at financial information, especially with things like the Apple Wallet and stuff like that now, where you can have your bank card on there. And like people's fear of webcams being looked at, and I mean, this has all come from Apple themselves. These are things that they know that if they allowed the FBI to do this, the US, obviously we're in the UK, so it kind of excludes us. People in the US could be prone to this. It's a possibility, but I don't think it's a possibility worth risking. That's about as far as that's gone.
Yeah, I just think it's really good that they've actually been open about it and spoken out about it, because what they've done is say, this is the situation and we've decided to take this course of action, and it's important because they've asked this of us and we are not prepared to risk you as a consumer because of that. So I think it's good that they've actually taken some initiative and opened a discussion about it.
Well, as well, they are a company operating in that country, so they do need to abide by certain laws. So, like, if the government do put a restriction on it, they may end up forcing them to do it. But there's pluses and negatives, because you think this technology could then be used not just against terrorism, against other criminals like cyber criminals, identity fraud, stuff like that. They can track people who could potentially harm a wider audience. So, I mean, there are pluses and negatives.
Yeah, you just got to be careful. These might be the people that can exploit the backdoor system as well. I mean, there'll be more news and whatever, if Apple have to abide by it and stuff. But
this was like the first thing that came out today, wasn't
literally,
it? So.
First thing we've heard about it. Another quick thing. Any Star Wars fans? They mentioned it today that they're going to be doing anyone. I'm massively into the Knights of the Old Republic thing from.
That's Sam.
Yeah, massively into it.
Sam's wearing a Star Wars t-shirt right now.
I am wearing a Star Wars t-shirt right now, which says it all. And basically, they're doing Unreal Engine 4. Now, if you're not big into games design, it's basically a good more recent game engine. Things like
Gears of War.
Gears of War was made in Unreal, and if you've ever seen that, you know the quality of it, which would be really cool to see because we've not had a good role-playing game for Star Wars in quite a while.
We're seeing quite a lot of games being remastered in Unreal Engine 4 at the moment as well. Like they did a couple levels from Zelda, which Richard's wearing a Zelda t-shirt right now.
I'm wearing a Zelda shirt, so
And I'm wearing a plain black t-shirt.
Building the picture.
We started off with a Temple of Time remake in Unreal 4, and then somebody's now done like the water temple, but it's all frozen up and you can run around and it looks great. And yeah, I mean Unreal is Gears of War is just one thing. Unreal Engine is a huge engine.
Yeah.
Loads of $1 billion games are made there. So it's really good that like a really big story like Knights of the Old Republic, it's not a small story. It's a big story and quite a big part of the universe. And if it's is it an official one, Sam, or is it?
It's a fan-made one, and what they have to do is because it's not official, and obviously Star Wars is now owned by Disney, so it creates a lot more loopholes. They do have to release it for free, which is even better. I mean, we've only seen images, and
they did look beautiful though.
Yeah, they're really good images. You can find them just by doing a search online, and you have a look for yourself. But I don't know how far they are through it or anything.
Is Knights of the Old Republic considered canon though? Still,
No, I think that was one of the things that got swept under the rug under Legends, because when they got rid of it all, certain things were categorized under Legends. Then there was current continuity and like the history.
There has been new DLC though, hasn't there? Is it Knights or is it a different one? They had recently a new story.
The MMO.
The Old Republic.
The Old Republic.
Oh, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah,
The Old Republic. So that's still canon.
I believe that's canon.
That I think I've heard so. I'm not too sure.
Because I think they were like, no. This is Knights of the Old Republic, which
this is the old one.
Yeah,
the really old one.
They are kind of like set in similar time references, though, aren't they?
I think so.
Is Knights of the Old Republic just after the Old Republic, maybe?
No, Knights of the Old Republic is, it's a bit before the Old Republic, I think. Oh no, you know what? It could be either way. I don't think they link together exactly. I know they do crossover characters, but other than that,
because we haven't really played the Old Republic, have we? So that's cool.
Yeah.
What was after?
Is there anything else in terms of game? Or anything?
I think the only other thing game tech wise to mention is if anybody's a fan of VR, I'll probably be dropping it every now and then with some info about it because my dad's actually quite big into production and produces some VR stuff. Recently, just to keep people on track with it, if anybody's heard of Leap Motion before, it's sort of like a little box that tracks your hands and your movements and motion, and you can integrate it with VR. So people sellotape it to the top of their headsets, and it allows for better immersion into VR games. Recently, the guys Leap Motion, who are the guys behind the Leap controller, I've just introduced something new for it called the Orion. It's a next generation hand tracking for VR. That's me quoting their website. But yeah, it's basically new software for the piece of hardware that really dramatically improves the functionality of the Leap Motion. When the Leap Motion came out, it was great. It was quite good functionality. It was quite well detailed, but it was more like, oh, this is exciting. Now the new Orion software for the Leap Motion actually does the job properly to the level of which, people can now use it properly in games, implement it into VR, and you can actually now see potential for new things. Like I'm looking at videos of people, pinching their fingers and creating cubes with it and stuff.
That's
They're just using the Leap Motion. And if you can imagine that with a VR headset stuck on your head, it's opens a lot of doors for actual functionality inside.
You can imagine that, like when they get into like world building stuff in VR. Could you imagine that? That'd be
Minecraft.
incredible.
Yeah, Minecraft would be a huge one. Being able to actually place the blocks.
What was the Microsoft one?
HoloLens.
Like they're doing stuff with that where like the lens will pick up your hands moving and like you can, which is pretty crazy. So the fact that they're then linking that with VR, because VR is so exciting at the moment. Speaking of which, because we're going into the film and TV category next. Have you seen the trailer for? There's a completely like VR film coming out at the moment. It's all shot in first person. It's got like Eli Roth and stuff like that in it. I'll have to find the name of it. like Horrid Henry or something.
Oh, I know which one you're talking about, but I can't remember the name. It is something like something Henry.
Yeah,
It's definitely
Hardcore Henry.
Hardcore Henry, that's it.
Hardcore Henry. Like it looks pretty insane. So like the fact that VR is like slipping its way into the mainstream now, with especially the leap into films and stuff like that as well, is crazy.
Yeah.
And the fact that now they've got hand tracking in that, it's going to make games so much more better.
Yeah, it'll just make the mechanics of playing games in VR quite a lot nicer. Because I mean, the Leap Motion hardware is not expensive. It's for what it is. It's quite cheap piece of kit to get hold of.
I mean, it increases immersion as well. Like at the moment, if you're playing a VR game and you've got the headset on, but then you're carrying around 2 controllers, it doesn't feel quite like it pulls you out of the immersion a bit, doesn't it? Whereas if you can then just use your hands, could you imagine that? That's going to be incredible.
Was this Hardcore Henry film inspired by that YouTube video?
That's what I was thinking.
Because it says on the IMDb it was 2015. Oh no, this is when it first got announced, I think.
Right, okay.
Well, there we go.
Oh, there you go.
But it's got like Eli Roth in it, and he's
Tim Roth?
Tim Roth. That's
Tim
what
Roth.
Eli Roth is the director.
Yeah,
Tim Roth.
Oh no, the director is Ilya.
No, I mean
Naishula?
No, I mean like Eli Roth is a director. I got the two names
okay,
mixed up.
yeah.
Tim Roth has been in Pulp Fiction. He does lots of stuff with Tarantino. He was in Lie to Me, stuff like that. He's a great actor.
Yeah.
Richard wouldn't know.
I wouldn't know. Yeah, but
as we might figure out later, Richard hasn't seen Pulp Fiction.
it's a lot of new stuff for VR's coming though, and I'll probably be dipping in the news just to talk about it a bit more as we go along. But that's
cool.
it basically for the game and tech news.
Yeah. I tried to move on to film and TV. Should we talk about TV first? Daredevil.
Yeah, the thing is with TV, Richard hasn't. I mean, Richard, you've watched Daredevil.
I've watched all of Daredevil season 1.
Right, so we can talk about Daredevil.
Have you seen the trailer for the new Daredevil?
No.
Okay, while we do this, if you could watch the Daredevil trailer on silent on your laptop, and just watch it. I know you're probably going to need a bit of audio, but just watch it.
You're looking for the new trailer that came out 2 days ago now, was it?
I think so.
I've already got it.
Okay.
Without, obviously, if you should have watched the trailer. We're not going to spoil anything by mentioning the trailer. The Punisher is the guy who plays Shane from The Walking Dead. Jesus, it looks good.
Like
really good.
He is so good as the Punisher.
Yeah.
Like he's already demanding like the attention. Like he owns this trailer. I know we saw more of him than like Matthew Murdock's Daredevil, but like he just owns it. Like he's such a big presence. And that's, I think, how the Punisher should be played.
Well, I mean, if you saw how he was in The Walking Dead, you know exactly how.
I haven't seen Fury yet, but
he's
seen
really good in Fury.
Really good in Fury.
Yeah. Oh
like
my God, what's his name?
Even in is Josh? No, I'm thinking of Josh Brolin. Never mind. My mind's
John Berthol.
John Berthol. That's the one. He was in Wolf of Wall Street as well.
Was he?
Yeah, he played the ex-drug dealer. The one whose wife straps all the money to him. Yeah. He plays like these big burly characters that demand a lot. So I think he was a perfect casting for it. But he owns that trailer. Like it's so good.
In terms of being the Punisher as well, you know, it's going to be wicked.
Just me that thinks that this series is going to be a lot better than the first series as well.
I mean, the first series was pretty good at establishing everything. I think now that they've established it all in the first Daredevil series, I think season 2 can be a lot about just developing the story between Daredevil and the Punisher and how, you know, because they talk about him creating the Punisher in it, which is kind of cool. And, you know, we get to see a bit of a Punisher origin and stuff. So, I mean, I personally don't know much about the Punisher other than that he's a nasty guy that kills people and he's got a big white long skull on his jacket or whatever.
Well, a mafia kingpin kills his wife and family. So then he goes out for revenge and then just decides to keep up this like vigilante
comic book origin, or is that
that's most origins for him? I think that's every origin is
without trying to spoil too much of his origin for people. Obviously,
the films that came out, like that's what happened. Like they'll brush over that really quickly. They mention it in the trailer, I think, as well.
Yeah,
they say he's out for vengeance, but Daredevil now has a new suit, and we see him we already see him go to toe with the Punisher in the trailer, which looks insane. I don't know, because obviously they're on the same side at the end of the day. They're both trying to save Hell's Kitchen.
Yeah, I mean,
but he's just got this completely different way about going about it, and I think that's why they butt heads.
Yeah, I mean,
Richard, have you seen the trailer?
I've just watched it. Yeah.
What did you think of it?
There was a lot of the Punisher in it.
Yeah.
A lot of the Punisher. Any shots of like...
unfortunately couldn't hear him, but he is very demanding.
Dialogue's really good.
Is
like,
he?
really
Yeah.
dark. Yeah.
The first shot of Daredevil with this new suit on, I was like, Batman? Because it was quite dark. And up on the top of the thing, I was like, is that Batman? Because of the cat
the horns,
thing
yeah.
going on. All the
Cat ears.
Catman, Cat Devil.
Yeah, of course.
Derek
The
Cat.
horns. There was that priest guy. There was the girls again. But all that the Daredevil trailer showed me is that Daredevil gets the crap kicked out of him quite a lot in this season. And I really hope there's another like fight scene like there was in the first. Was it the second episode? At the end of the second
corridor.
episode?
They look like there was another corridor scene. I hope they don't
it was
rip
like a
it
hospital ward kind of scene, maybe, or like a home kind of scene. I don't know, but that's what it looked like. Yeah, it looks
hopefully
really
they
good.
don't like rip it off directly, because that was my favorite scene out of the entire thing. Like, I know you loved it as well because we talked in length about that shot. Hopefully they don't rip it off directly again because of how well loved it was.
Yeah.
One more thing, we get to see Elektra at the end of it. They said there's a part 2 of the trailer coming, so I don't know if that's going to be an Elektra based one.
I mean, Elektra, hopefully no spoilers for people who haven't watched it yet. She appears right at the end, doesn't she? He's like, he's just like, Elektra. And then it's like, whoa, okay. Yeah, well, I mean.
And one other thing, you're one bad day away from being me. It's like, oh, that's a powerful line. And that's taken directly from the comic books as well, which was pretty cool.
The other thing in TV is, now we obviously can't talk much about this at all. It's very fresh. Richard's not up to date with it.
This is going to be very cryptic.
I'm your block, listeners. If you've not seen The Walking Dead just yet, I am your key to not having it spoiled, because if they spoil it for me, it spoils it for everyone.
Yeah, which is kind of good for anyone that's listening, because me and Chris could probably talk about this quite a lot.
Yeah.
To brush over it, we're literally going to go over this really quick because we want to get talking about the big thing that's happened recently, is that The Walking Dead has just come back for its mid-season start, and damn, it came back really hard.
Back strong, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, like it came back out the gates, boom, instant like action. Like it was a very tense, very fast-paced episode, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It felt like, because the first half of the season kind of lulled a bit, didn't it? Because it was all based around like 2 days, wasn't it? Whereas this, like, straight back into the action, like a very big comic book thing happened.
Yeah. I mean,
like,
if you've read the comic books, and you're waiting for something to happen, then, have a little think, you might know. But
they kind of teased it in like the mid-season finale, didn't they? But they actually did it. But it's like a big thing that they're gonna have to live with from now. Like, I genuinely didn't think that they were gonna pull it off. I know they've got a big budget, but that's something that they're gonna have to deal with every episode now.
You can't come back from it.
No,
Can't come back.
well, I mean, even the characters can't come back from it. Let's put it that way. We just wanted to brush over that really quick, just in case you haven't watched it yet. Yeah, if you haven't watched it yet, you definitely need to start watching it.
Stop looking at me.
Very quickly now. I mean, in terms of anything else, in terms of film news, we've got really quickly. We got a new Guardians photo showing the set. Like, not much that we've not already seen, just silhouettes of them, but we know it's in production. And
we've got Baby Groot stood on Drax's shoulder, so we don't know if he's going to get full sized or whether he's going to start out as mini Baby Groot, which is kind of cool. But they did confirm that Kurt Russell is definitely in it now. I reckon he might be playing Peter Quill's dad, but he's a great actor to land for it. So well done.
And we got a announcement for episode 8. I mean, we knew it was happening, but it's now in production.
Yeah,
which is very exciting. Have we all seen it?
Yeah, we've seen it.
Day one of shooting started. It picks up exactly where it left off.
Yeah, it was so nice to see new footage, not just redone footage. It was new footage that they've taken and not even color corrected yet. So the grass was super green and lush. Like, Luke was completely brown and covered in...
Spoilers for the end of The Force Awakens there.
Well, you know what? If you've not seen The Force Awakens yet...
If you've not seen The Force Awakens
you won't be watching
you won't be on
episode 8.
Yeah, you won't be interested in Star Wars, let's put it that way.
So it was so good to see that they'd done that, though. Like, it's really engaging, even though the film's quite far
kind
away.
of like preferred the look of that shot to the final shot
Just
of episode.
well, I mean, who
like
knows,
episode 7 was kind of overcast at that ending, and it looked so bright because, as you said, it hadn't been color corrected. But
I mean, who knows? Ryan Johnson might want it to look a different way.
Yeah.
How weird would that be? If you try to watch the end of, when they've done like a trilogy and you go back and you go, let's watch all 7, 8, and 9 together again, and you're watching like end of episode 7 is really dark and dull. Start of episode 8 is like the most bright, colourful thing.
That like the shot carried on directly from the second it ended, so they'll have to color correct it, otherwise it's terrible continuity.
I wonder if they've actually, like, obviously they will have done, but like, you know how in Star Wars there's always going to be something that's different, or there's a continuity error somewhere, or they always make little mistakes. They're always part of what Star Wars is. It's always like the quirk of Star Wars, and like, imagine if there is something different at the start of Episode 8 when you compare it.
Well, every Star Wars film has started with a planet and a ship, hasn't it? If this continues directly on, where are they going to squeeze that in? Unless like they show a quick space scene of maybe Kylo Ren in his ship wherever he's going, and then it cuts back to Rey finally getting to the island. Maybe
it's just a shot of the planet, and then it goes on to that.
Maybe that zoom in shot you see of the island is after it's gone on to the planet. Well, I mean, we've not seen much yet, and there's a lot of speculation that we're probably going to do in a future episode or a future episode.
We could literally fill up 4 podcasts with us 3 talking about Star Wars.
So we will fill up a full podcast with it. Okay, big thing, clues in the title. Deadpool, one word, Deadpool. Right, okay. We've all seen Deadpool. I've seen it twice.
I've seen it twice.
I've seen it twice. Yeah.
God damn it.
I dragged my girlfriend to go watch it because I told her it was definitely a chick flick, obviously.
Oh, did you pull the whole...
No.
No.
I told her it was quite violent, and, but I mean, she enjoyed it. It was good, yeah. So, I mean, it's definitely different to everything else that Marvel have been putting out. It's definitely different.
Yeah.
We're not going to spoil this. There might be a bit where we'll talk about spoilers for maybe about 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Later on. We'll give you a spoiler.
We'll pre-warn. We'll pre-warn. Don't worry. Don't stop listening, please. There's no spoilers yet.
This will be just like a quick review. If you want to know what people think of the film without spoiling the film, that's what we're going to do now. So, Sam really enjoyed it. Richard, what did you think, real quick?
I honestly thought it was super meta. Everything was so meta, and just the comedy was really good. I just love how they played it as if the audience wasn't stupid. They played it the right way. It should not have been a 15 in the UK, but it was.
Don't know how that slipped through the cracks.
I don't know. But other than that, really good.
Yeah, I loved it. I thought it was a great depiction of Deadpool. Amazing on-screen Deadpool. It felt so... It was better than, obviously, the last Deadpool that we saw in X-Men Origins, obviously. Let's
not even go there.
I like the nods to it.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty funny. The way that he breaks the fourth wall was just perfect for me. It was so great. Sam's been reading a lot of Deadpool lately, so he can probably back me up. I think it's possibly the most accurate on-screen depiction of Deadpool that we could have seen.
Yeah, that's what everyone's thinking at the moment. It is so close to how he is in the comics, I mean... It's literally perfect. I don't think there was a moment in the film where I started to feel bored or I felt like anything was too much. I was laughing all the way through the bits that you should have been laughing at. Maybe some of the jokes, maybe you was just expecting them after a little bit. But that's what Deadpool is. Loads of dick jokes and what have you and stuff like that. So they're bound to happen. Favorite. Oh, okay. We can't do that without spoiling it. Doesn't matter if I say favorite moment. We'll do that in a minute. Deadpool 2, we're looking forward to that. I think that's definitely going to happen because, they went ahead and broke... How much did they make? They smashed everything in the box office,
130...
Yeah, it broke
130 million in the opening week. It's the highest opening weekend for an R-rated movie.
And especially in February, it's the highest in February.
Well, there you go.
I think, and it also beat one of the old Star Wars box office in first weekend. I don't know. I think it was 3, but
it beat most superheroes' first outings. It beat Iron Man 1, it beat Batman Begins, it beat Captain America, Thor, all of them. It beat them, and it's an R-rated film.
For a film that had the budget of $50 million. And they made back on the Tuesday, they made back 11.56 million just on one day.
Correct me if I'm wrong. You can search it now if you want. I think Game of Thrones has a 60 million budget per episode, maybe?
Or 16?
60, I believe. I know Daredevil, because it being a Netflix show, has a smaller budget of 4 million.
Game of Thrones has 6 million.
6 million per episode?
Yeah.
So if you think they're making a TV show on 6 million... Age of Ultron cost 360, I think, in total, because it ran over budget.
Well, Put it this way:
And-
Force Awakens had 200 million.
Exactly. So Star Wars had 4 times as much as Deadpool did, and Deadpool pulled off an amazing feat with that much money. Like it's an incredible film for the budget and just. Well, Ryan Reynolds said it was 10 years in the making. He'd been trying to get this film made for 10 years, so a heart went into it, a lot of passion went into it.
Yeah, I think just the one thing that I would probably say about the movie is, me personally, I don't know whether I could go and see it more than twice, but it is a film you need to see. So it's like one of those films I'd go and watch again, enjoy the jokes again, but then once you've heard all of those jokes, it's like you understand it now. You don't need to go and see it again. It's a thing with comedy, I guess. Maybe it's a thing about comedy films in general. That's just the way you anticipate them.
Well, I think like when Star Wars came out, when Age of Ultron came out, stuff like that, we went to see it in rapid succession because we wanted to see it in the cinema again. I don't think this is a film that I could necessarily see in the cinema again. But once it comes out on Blu-ray, I'll buy it and I'll watch it and I'll find it just as funny. I think I need a break from the jokes, as you said, for them to be as funny.
Did you say Age of Ultron? Sorry, did you see Age of Ultron twice? I only saw it the once.
I only
got
saw
a
it once.
feeling like I might have seen it again.
I didn't think I could see it again.
Nope, I only saw it once.
Yeah, I only
Well,
saw it once.
I saw Guardians of the Galaxy twice. I saw like many films twice. I saw Star Wars twice, stuff like that. Yeah.
Ryan Reynolds was ace, you know. He's really good.
I've said to you many times, when I read a Deadpool comic, it's Ryan Reynolds that I see in my head, even before he was in X-Men Origins, because it just kind of felt like that character. His character is Canadian as well. Like it just kind of all fit into my head together.
Yeah.
Do we want to get into the spoiler
I was
part
just
now?
about
Yeah.
to say. Yeah.
So
okay.
if you've not seen Deadpool yet and you don't want anything ruined for you, skip about 5 minutes from this point here, and we'll meet you back in a minute. But now we're doing the spoilers.
Spoilers, everybody died.
Literally, almost.
I mean, nobody's getting the Deadpool for Ryan Reynolds, are they? So, I mean, for Wade Wilson. Best moment in Deadpool, full spoilers. Which is your favourite bit? Go on, Richard. You first.
Oh my god, I really like the bit where he cut his hand off.
Oh,
I don't know why. I just really enjoyed that part. That part I thought was really funny.
With the 127 hours
And
reference
I'll tell you
as
why.
well.
It's because it was the first time in the movie, I think, that it was really heavy on the gore. That sequence was like the first part where it was very full on. Yeah, now he's going to cut his hand off, and it's funny that he's doing it. Like
2 minutes earlier, some guy exploded on the roadside.
well, yeah, but I mean, but then it's like all the actions happened, and then the anticipation of that's happened, and you're shocked, and then Deadpool's like, yeah, I'll just cut my hand off. Like that to me was really good.
It was the way he broke the fourth wall with it as well. It's like,
Yeah.
if you haven't seen 127 hours, spoiler alert, and then cuts his hand off. Like, I thought that was pretty, like, as you said, like, you had that big action set piece, and then it went into just, like, this slower, more comedy. It turned into a full comedy bit. Like, that bit as well, when he's turned, like, Ajax pulls the sword out, runs away, and he just looks at him, looks back at Colossus, and he's like, like, that was incredible, the way his eyes got, like, so big as well. And when he's fighting, well, I say fighting Colossus, he's punching Colossus and breaking all his limbs. Like, that knocked me more sick than him cutting his hand off, because it's just like his jelly arms. I was in pieces laughing.
Would you say that's your favourite moment?
That's one of my favourite moments.
Would you say that's your ultimate favourite moment, or would you say you got a more better moment in Deadpool that you enjoyed more?
There was a moment that I'm trying to think what it is now.
Okay.
I think it was just another joke landed better with me.
Yeah. I think the best part for me, I think, other than the bit with Colossus on that, I think it's definitely the that 12 bullets bit where he's counting down the 12 bullets.
Yes.
And the way it's shot is amazing. How it shows the number on the bullet every time he does it.
That was really good.
And then there's a bit where he piles 3 bullets into the dead guy, and he's like, damn it, bad, but then he's like, oh,
Worth it.
so good. He's like, he's got this like a schizophrenic thing.
Yeah, and then somebody catches him off guard, and he's about to shoot him, and then he's got no bullets, and then he's just like, somebody wasn't counting, and then just shoots him.
That scene is just ultimate Deadpool.
The bit where he falls as well, and the guy thinks he's killed him, he shoots him between his legs as well, and he gets shot in the ass as well. It's so Deadpool. It's so really funny.
Yeah,
but the jelly arms, it was knocking me sick.
I actually also thought all of the origin story stuff was I surprisingly was not fed up with that, and I know that people who already know the origin story, like Chris, you might have found it to be kind of like, oh, they always have to show the origin story and da 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 da. But from my perspective, I didn't know the origin story because I didn't read the comics. To me, that is like, I really enjoyed having that part of it in it because it made sense to me as soon as I understood why Deadpool was Deadpool.
And I think a lot of people that have gone and watched Deadpool wouldn't have had a clue about the origin, because obviously a lot of people now are watching Marvel movies because it's Marvel, and they're not necessarily they've read all the comic books. So I think it's good that you felt like that when you watched it, because obviously it's quite good for everybody else as well. Because I think the majority of people who watched it didn't know the origin.
I think it slowed down definitely during the origin bits. I didn't mind it too much because the comedy was still there, and because the way they wrote his origin this time, it led to the creation of Ajax being his villain in this film. So I didn't mind it too much. Like, I know it felt a little bit sluggish at times, but I didn't mind it at all because they kept me engaged with the film. And another favourite scene of mine, real quick, was when they're trying to come up with his name, but they're talking about like why he looks so horrible, and it's like, you look like an avocado had sex with an older, more disgusting avocado, stuff like that.
Yeah, I think a lot of that's going to be in the deleted scenes as well because it was all improvised.
Yeah, that was my favourite joke though.
What a soundtrack as well.
What a soundtrack.
It's gone good too.
Definitely. Really good, really well. I really love all of the Beat It sound design stuff in the music from like Michael Jackson's Beat It was all over the place in loads of action sequences, and it helped tie the whole thing together. I don't think how much we can say anymore now because people are probably returning from the 5-minute hiatus of spoilers. So.
Very last thing before the spoilers is things for Deadpool 2.
Yeah.
Very, very quickly. There's a after credits scene because we're still in spoilers. So hopefully
Ferris
you stayed
Bueller
there
rip off
for it.
completely.
Yeah. Cable going to be in Deadpool 2. Hopefully going to be in Deadpool 2. Richard, you're not too sure who Cable is, I assume?
I don't know who Cable is, but the recent stories about other people, other actors already preparing to want to be the role has kind of opened
guy
it
from
up.
Avatar.
That's
yeah.
what I was about to mention. The guy from Avatar, he was such a great. Like, when I think of like Cable, he was one of the people that I thought of. Like, at the end of the film, he rattles off some names of actors who could do it, but he missed his name out. But I thought he would be great. Cable for Richard is the son of Scott Summers and Jean Grey, so that's Cyclops and Phoenix.
Right.
Jean Grey. They have a kid in the future that's Cable. He travels through time. It's funny because he's with Deadpool.
Big, massive, half mechanical guy.
Yeah.
He looks like Colossus if Colossus was half human. Like the arm, Colossus's arm, and the way he looks is the exact same.
He's halfway between Colossus and Winter Soldier.
Yeah, he's literally the exact same sort of metal on his arm.
He travels through time and he's so serious. That's why he's so funny with Deadpool, because Deadpool is just the complete opposite.
Yeah.
Right.
So Deadpool 2, also X-Force maybe. Incredible. Can't wait.
Complete opposites. So
Opposites attract.
yeah, we're trying not to keep these podcasts too long. I mean, we're coming up to like just over 40 minutes, so we're going to start wrapping it up, I think. Anything that we want to mention aside all the news? Is there anything that us guys want to suggest for people to check out in between now and the next episode? Not necessarily anything related to movies, films, or anything, but generally anything cool that we can keep people interested with.
Well, you were telling us about that podcast that you're really into at the moment, Sam.
Yeah, has anyone got? Because I'm going to rattle on about
I
that.
think that's I don't have much.
I was just going
At
to
the
say,
moment.
Yeah, we're going to try and think of some stuff that we can kind of give you guys to take away and go and watch and check out and kind of keep your schedules busy with until we can put something else out.
some podcasts that we like. Then before Sam goes into depth with this new one, Weekly Planet, we're all a fan of.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we do kind of like that. I like She
Yeah.
Doesn't Text Back. It's just Will and Darren from SourceFed chatting shit, and it's funny.
Yeah. Besides that, the one that we want, like, I want to really kind of push and say that I want you all to check out. There's a podcast at the moment. If you're into music, if you're into kind of producing, or you're a band, or you to do anything with sort of the production side of it, basically, there's a podcast called Noise Creators on iTunes. It's basically a producer. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. I will find out and I will give it to you. He's
Gonna
doing
give it to you.
amazing. Basically, what he's doing, the tagline is "We connect musicians to producers," and what he's doing is he's doing these little talk show things with producers who've done stuff for, say, if you're into bands like The Story So Far, Under Oath, anything like that, sometimes more heavier stuff. But he's done about 6-7 episodes, and he sits down and talks to them, and he finds out how they started. Check it out. I don't want to go too much into it because obviously you can go take it for what it is and enjoy it. But he's just trying to get it off the ground. He's really trying to push it. And, they're about 40, 50 minutes long, depending on who he's talking to. But I think that's definitely worth checking out if you're into the music side of it.
Well, you definitely sparked my interest earlier when you're telling us the bands that these people have worked with. It's some of our favourite bands. It's some bands that we're properly into, like pop punk, stuff like that. So I'm definitely going to check it out.
Oh yeah. Like I've checked out 2 or 3 of them just while you're at the gym. You just go something good to listen to, and
when you drive in public transport, just
whatever.
That's what you should do with this, guys.
Cool.
Share it with your friends. Tell them to listen to IOPow podcast.
If you enjoyed it.
Hopefully you enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it. Did you enjoy it, guys?
I enjoyed doing it.
I enjoyed it.
I mean, hopefully it's good to listen to.
Yeah.
I don't know how often this thing's going to be, whether it's going to be every week, every 2 weeks, or what have you. But we've hit the 45 minutes, and it's good time to wrap up, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. Social media, it's at IOPow on Twitter. It is also, I think it's IOPow on Facebook. But facebook.com/ I'm going to check it now.
YouTube.com/IOPow.
Yeah, it's facebook.com/IOPow. It's youtube.com/IOPow.
Twitter.com/IOPow, probably.
Yep.
Yeah.
It is, yeah.
And also, if you want to get in touch with us or have comments so we can read them out in the next episode,
That would be great.
email us. It's iopowchannel@gmail.com. And that way we can receive your mail and then we can read it out and talk about
Literally send us anything if there's anything that you want us
Don't
to
send
talk
us
about.
nudes.
No nudes. Send us related to the podcast. If you want us to talk about something, we'll talk about it. We won't
Even
talk.
if
We might
nudes-
talk about your nudes if you send us really disgusting ones. We'll be like, "You're a weirdo." We'll just call you out on it in public.
You're not a weirdo if you're listening to this, though.
No, but
We
if you
love
send us weird nudes, then you might be. Sam already sends them to the IOPow email. I don't know why. Why does he do that?
I don't know.
I am not fully aware of my actions when I'm on an email.
Either way, if you did enjoy this first episode, make sure you subscribe to us on your feed, whether it's YouTube, whether it's iTunes, or wherever it is. Make sure you are subscribed so you'll know when the next one goes up. We'll try and get together again really soon. But I think that's about everything.
Cool.
Thank you very much for listening. I've had fun, guys.
Yeah,
It's been good.
This is the beginning of a
Let's go
great
play Dota.
podcast. Let's go play Dota.
Yeah.
Also, shout out to my dogs. They look really cute asleep right now.
Right, cool. Thank you very much for watching, guys. See you around.
Thanks.
Thank
Peace.
you.